And I don't take nothing away from the fact the public are angry about this. But the question is, how does the king respond? The king. I think back to when Prince Harry was lobbying accusations at the monarchy just after the king became king back in the autumn of 2022. And for about 12 weeks non-stop, you had Harry with his 6-part Netflix series, followed by his book Spare and all the interviews around it. And there were these constant accusations being lobbed at the monarchy. And he didn't respond. And people said, the king must respond. And actually, the king didn't respond because, the monarchy is above that kind of stuff. Leave it to the politicians.
You cannot compare Harry and Andrew. We have Andrew, who's wanted for questioning in America, who Scotland Yard would quite like to talk to, for help in investigating a very serious global scandal. And don't bring Harry into that sort of league. We're talking about a prince who is in disgrace, who's done something clearly
but he hasn't been accused of anything. He's been charged of anything. He hasn't been sentenced.
He defends everything.
So, that happened. You just heard Robert Hardman trying his absolute hardest to drag Prince Harry into Prince Andrew's scandal. And bless Simon McCoy for stepping in with the biggest nope heard on morning television. The way he shut that down. Chef's kiss. Now let's unpack this circus, shall we? Because this right here is a masterclass in desperation, royal edition. Robert Hardman, the so-called royal expert, has once again reminded us that some people in the British press would rather chew glass than let Prince Harry live rent-free in peace. The man could be talking about global warming, and somehow he'd find a way to say, but it all started when Harry and Meghan left the palace. Like, sir, please, take a deep breath and step away from the delusion. Because let's be clear, what Simon McCoy said wasn't just correct, it was historic. Finally, someone on British TV had the spine to say, you cannot compare Harry and Andrew. Period. Full stop. End of conversation. We're talking about two completely different universes here. On one hand, you have Prince Harry, a man who served his country, built the Invictus Games, married the woman he loves, and is out here raising 2 adorable kids while sipping green juice in Montecito. On the other hand, you have Andrew, a man whose resume includes royal embarrassment and wanted for questioning. The audacity of trying to say their names in the same breath is beyond comprehension. But Hardman? Oh no, he thought he was clever. He thought he could contextualize Andrew's scandal by dragging Prince Harry's name into the mud. And you can almost hear his brain saying, wait, how do I make this look better for the palace? Oh, let's remind everyone about Harry. It's the oldest trick in the royal PR handbook. If it's bad for the firm, distract with Harry. The problem? The British public isn't falling for it anymore. And Simon McCoy clearly wasn't having it either. The man literally said, don't bring Harry into that sort of league. Which, translated from polite journalist speak, means, have you completely lost your mind? Now the irony is delicious here. Robert Hardman is the same guy who went on a press tour a while back and thought it was cute to mock a 2-year-old, Archie, just to sell his little book. Like, sir, you're a grown man picking fights with toddlers now? What's next? You're going to write a 500-page essay about how Lilibet's smile is a threat to national security? The pettiness knows no bounds. And speaking of pettiness, this whole attempt to link Prince Harry to Andrew shows just how desperate the royal defenders have become. They know Andrew's situation is indefensible. The man's been stripped of royal duties, his reputation is in ruins, and the palace can't PR spin their way out of it. So what do? They reach for Harry like he's their royal scapegoat piñata. Let's be real. The monarchy's biggest mistake wasn't Harry and Meghan Sussex leaving. Their biggest mistake was underestimating how badly the world would see through their hypocrisy once the couple walked away. Because every single scandal since 2020, from William's "I'm not a racist" moment to Andrew's entire existence, keeps proving exactly what Harry said in Spare, that the institution protects itself, not its people. And here's the thing, Hardman can quote sources until he's blue in the face. The British media can twist, spin and rewrite all they want, but the truth keeps shining through. The Sussexes are happy, thriving and living life on their own terms. Meanwhile, back in the UK, the royal rota is running out of headlines and clinging to whatever crumbs of relevance they can find. It's honestly painful to watch. Imagine waking up every morning thinking, how can I make Harry look bad today? That's not journalism. That's an obsession. These people need a hobby. Maybe they should join Meghan Sussex's jam club and put that energy into something sweet for once. Now let's talk about Simon McCoy for a second, because that man deserves his flowers. He didn't raise his voice, didn't get dramatic, didn't throw insults. He just calmly reminded the nation that this false equivalence between Harry and Andrew is ridiculous. And in that one line, he exposed the entire rotten game. The royal commentators want to make Harry look as controversial as possible, so they can make Andrew look less scandalous by comparison. But the math ain't mathing, Robert. It never has. Prince Harry didn't do anything wrong by speaking his truth. He didn't get caught in anything. He didn't embarrass the monarchy. He revealed what was already embarrassing about it. And that's the part they can't forgive him for. Because every time Harry breathes, he reminds them that you don't need a palace to have power. Just honesty, integrity, and a purpose. Meanwhile, Robert Hardman is sitting there trying to rewrite history like, well, remember when Harry did Netflix and Spare? Yes, Robert, we remember. The world remembers. And that's why those projects broke records while your book is collecting dust in the bargain section of W.H. Smith. And here's a fun fact. When Simon McCoy said, "You cannot compare Harry and Andrew," you could literally feel the tension in the studio. The energy shifted, because even the hosts knew that Hardman had stepped into dangerous territory. The viewers at home were probably yelling, "Thank you, Simon," through their TV screens. It's becoming painfully obvious that the royal PR machine is cracking. They've spent years trying to villainize Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex, and yet, the more they try, the more the truth seeps out. Hardman and his ilk can spin all they want, but the world knows who the real villains are. And that's the beauty of it all. Karma doesn't miss. Hardman's credibility? In freefall. His sources? Questionable at best. His latest performance on Good Morning? A masterclass in how not to defend the monarchy. Meanwhile, the Sussexes are out there living their best lives, producing meaningful projects, parenting with love, building brands rooted in authenticity. Meghan Sussex just launched As Ever, and the anticipation alone broke the internet. Prince Harry's Invictus Games continues to grow, empowering wounded veterans around the world. And together, they're doing what the monarchy could never do, connecting with people on a human level. So yes, Robert Hardman tried it. He really thought he could make a false comparison to deflect from the royal family's latest embarrassment. But Simon McCoy said, "Not today, Satan, not today." And that's why moments like this matter. Because when someone like Simon McCoy steps up and draws that line, it chips away at the decades of bias and royal propaganda that have dominated British TV. It shows that maybe, just maybe, the tide is turning. So to wrap it up, Robert Hardman embarrassed himself on live television, Simon McCoy became the unexpected hero of the morning, and the monarchy once again reminded the world that they'd rather twist themselves into knots than take accountability. Prince Harry didn't need to be in that conversation, and Simon McCoy made sure of it. Because when you stand in truth, the lies just can't touch you.